Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Darksiders 2. So we're going through the dungeon. We've got the dungeon map now. I got a little turned around, actually. The dungeon map was here, so I was going this way. So we're going to go through a loading section. Meanwhile, we're ever so slowly gaining experience. We'll probably level up at some point before we finish this Earth dungeon section. Here's another collectible. Let's see, if I tried to jump down this way, that would get me back to that gate, but I'm pretty sure I'm not trying to get to that gate. I'm trying to keep an open eye for anything that I can shoot. And we had no problem walking through this little load section. I think they probably could have saved themselves by not having medical gurneys and wheelchairs. Like, even if this is supposed to be a hospital, like, they're gonna have to thematically back it up with something more as far as why they would specifically have this building as a hospital. They're already breaking realism. Like, most buildings aren't going to have singular paths that are blocked, with every other path blocked off, that turn into long corridors. Actually, that was not too bad what they did, because it felt like it was a hospital room that with a wall broken to another hospital room. And there's nothing in there. Let's free this angel from grip. Although I don't know how much I'm really freeing them as much as I'm just killing the angels. That's a reoccurring theme in this game, is that anytime corruption has a hold of these people, of anybody, the only thing you can do is kill them as an act of mercy, which very possibly is what like the last cutscene will revolve around, or something like that. I'm going through health quite a bit, so if I could keep an eye out for improving my defense, I think that would be nice. And it looks like we're jumping down. They're kind of making it out as if this is some kind of medical district with ambulances and police cars. This is a pretty... that's the second one of those we found, so I imagine we may very well have missed some. Maybe, maybe not. There's still a good chance that there's a lot of content to happen. Alright, let's jump down. This will probably trigger something. The NOS. So, the NOS is some kind of walking stinger hive, I guess. Like, I really wish there was a way to get a good look of this guy. Maybe girl. It seems like it's mostly monster. I'm about to win. Of course, I'm playing on easy too, so it shouldn't be a super surprise. He was the first one to drop any loot or a willpower vial. Let's get the boatman coin. His boatman coins don't refill, as best as I can tell. But I guess you don't need too many of them either. Like, I think the truth of the matter is, if you're at max level and you bought 2, 3, maybe 4 legendary loot boxes from Virgil, you're gonna just get what you get. It will be so overpowered. There will be no actual gameplay reason to even have those weapons. Borderlands, which I haven't made a reference to Borderlands in a while, kinda has the same issue. There's a, once you hit that max level, there's kind of no more reason to play. In the example of Borderlands, though, I would argue you get a good 200 to 300 hours of gameplay that is actually fun throughout that 200 to 300 hours. And so by the time you are at max level, you're either to a point where you've had enough Borderlands, or you go and start another character and play with a completely different play style. This game doesn't have different play styles, really. The only slight variant you might have is, did you pick a slow or a fast secondary weapon, since scythes will always be your fast primary weapons. After beating that boss, I would have preferred for them to have slowed down this. Like, I don't see a real reason to keep on throwing so many at me. They've turned this game for now several hours into a first-person shooter, which, this is THQ's insanity right here. This is probably Vigil Games' insanity too. The idea that they would take what was effectively an action-adventure game in the first one and turn it into a first-person shooter with loot-based progression and RPG elements. It's everything, including the kitchen sink. And this is my fear with THQ Nordic trying to be a little bit too much like THQ. Like, is Darksiders 3 going to have an hour or plus of first-person shooting when you play as Fury, a character with a whip? That might actually be a good thing, because the whip, as it's animated right now, is kind of slow. So they're going to have to do something to speed that up. Or she's going to have to be extremely powerful, even from the first of a game. So it's one-hit kills. So many places where I could miss. So many places where I could mess up and not hit something. I'm having to play really, really thoroughly. which goes against the idea of this being a like reward section and just entertaining fast Panzer Dragoon section. Yeah, in the first game, the Panzer Dragoon section where you were flying and shooting, that only lasted about 5 minutes, and that was that. I don't even think you could do it a second time, which was kind of annoying because there was an achievement around it. There's an angel hiding back behind there. And by killing all of these people without my weapons, I'm not getting any of my health back. So if they weren't dropping all of this health, I would be slowly getting whittled down. Like every time these flesh bursters attack, they're doing a little bit of fire damage to me. Let's go in here. Guess there's nothing in here. These guys are just coming way too often. And they're not really that strong. With your regular weapons either, but it would be annoying to fight them without the guns. So they're doing the right thing by dropping more guns everywhere. And see, this section was supposed to have me cursing. That was cool, the hood of the car spinning. This is supposed to have me cursing death, not death, but war, and upset, and blaming war for everything I see. Why would death really even care? Like, his only desire to resurrect mankind is to prove war innocent by, I guess, undoing his crime. It's a weird logical argument to make that even if you commit a crime, if you undo the consequence of that crime, you're innocent then. That's what Death's trying to argue. This guy can jump really far, so he would have been a really interesting enemy to have been fighting for the past 10 hours. Unfortunately, we are gonna fight 2 or 3 of them, and that's it. There's some gold. I need to use some health. Let's go through here. We need 3 more of those. Looking for stones. I've now kind of run out of things to say. This part has gotten very repetitive. It's not suffering from the hectic pacing of before. At least. I guess we can give it that. We have stayed consistently doing the same thing for about an hour now. Let's see. How much? So we can't get on these edges. Take that health. Like, I feel like they've written the demons too strong in this story. Like, if you were going to try to, if you ever had like a thought in your head that you were going to try and have a different experience, where maybe a few of the humans survived for even a short time, I guess I can't grab this. Alright, so we'll take that. We'll have to run around, I guess. That's fine. So if you were gonna do the Lightsiders, have Uriel and some other angels running around instead of Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. And have some human faction, some small amount of resistance or survivors. Like, you would have to weaken the amount of demons. Like, they're non-stop. Like, a heavily armed army battalion would not be able to defend themselves against this onslaught. And while Death can defend himself, it's rather boring. It's too repetitive. I don't think we have too much more to do here. Well, I guess in the long run we still have 2 pieces of the staff to collect. But we may find that that's not as much as we think. Yeah, I know how War would have taken out a character like this, and I kind of prefer to be playing like War, taking a character out like that instead of just using guns. All these cars, people animated for no good reason. There's another sacred arbiter maze piece.
Impossible.
Let's just blow up everything so we can look around. And then we just shoot this. And when we're done shooting it, there's our second piece. The Eye of Arafel. Once part of the Rod of Arafel, the Eye of Arafel emits an eerie power, providing a vision of what's to come. Interesting. Like, you can almost just clip the graphics right through there. If we can use the Eye of Arafel or the Rod of Arafel to go into different dimensions, that would explain the treasure chests I saw that I could never find in the Land of the Dead. But we won't be using it too much, and it seems a little weird that wouldn't be integrated with the Bloodless quest. Because the Bloodless are already invisible enemies. I don't believe any of those dropped anything, or if they did drop something, it was just a little bit of gold that's probably inconsequential. Looking around to see, make sure we don't miss those last 3 angels. And map wise, we've gone kind of full circle, and we were supposed to get to this point, and I guess we're going to get to it in a second. And then the last part's going to have us go downward, I think, and then upward. Just look around, and like, we never really got an idea of what is hanging these chains everywhere, what kind of demon or angel that is. And these Hellguard angels with no name, I suppose, are only here to provide lighted lanterns to tell us, yeah, go this way. That's where you're supposed to be.
You have found the second piece. I can feel its power within you. The rod wills itself whole. You may be deaf to its cries, but I am not. The final piece lies beyond this barrier, in an area heavily fortified by the shadow.
The destroyer will not be pleased when I restore the rod of Arafel. The warriors may pay the price.
The White City is lost to us. This broken world will soon be our grave. And yet we must fight on against the darkness, to uphold the light. If your actions hasten our end, so be it.
Like, they don't even care if they live or die.
You're ill of the Hellguard.
Good luck, Rydo. The final piece is within your grasp.
And see, that's probably the last we're going to see of Uriel. Because she has to go on and play a part in the first story. And I don't want to spoil too much there, but it's kind of a permanent ending. I guess that is a pretty big spoiler. Although, you know, with the Well of Souls and Resurrections, there's nothing actually stopping it from being a permanent ending. Let's talk to her.
Good luck, Rydo. The final piece is within your grasp. Good luck, Rydo. The final...
Like, I wonder... This has to be part of the main game. This isn't just DLC content integrated inward. But I don't know, like... I don't remember playing any of this the first time at this point. I don't know if that's because I didn't get all the way through the game because it's so incredibly long, or if I'm playing just a completely different experience than what somebody who had purchased only the original Darksiders 2 and chosen not to purchase any of the DLC content. Like, I'm pretty sure some of the weapons we've gotten at the end of dungeons have been changed to be more specialized weapons. So I imagine if you hadn't bought the DLC content, you may have just found chests at the end of some dungeons that gave you some random loot item instead of a very specific item. Time to use... I feel like my resistance needs to be increased more. Like, we're taking fire damage, and it's taking about half of our health. It's been... We really haven't needed resistance up until this point at all in the game. We had one very overpowered, the undead king. He was very overpowered and frees you, but the fact that he was like a level 20 was more the issue when I was a level 14. I was still able to, for the most part, take him out. Look at this darkness. Just dark walls. That doesn't seem right at all. That seems like a visual glitch. I'm still looking around everywhere, trying to just... like 3 more angels and who knows how many more stones or books of the pages of the Book of the Dead. So while I'm on fire, it's taking taking maybe a quarter of my life away. That seems like a lot. And that mud pack there looked like something else. Wow, they sure shifted me around the corner. That's very disconcerting. It seems rather strange to have to fight the exact same type of enemy twice. Again, feels like this was DLC, where they wouldn't have had enough time to make 2 different things. I mean, even a simple skin job or on fire animation by default would have been appreciated. I've got to go back here just to make sure I didn't miss something. No, it just quickly moved me away from... just have our fill shooting cars. There's... what in the world is this? Gorehammer. Press right trigger to fire explosives. Left trigger to... like, why are you giving me a new gun all of a sudden, game? When we are pretty much done. So this one you really do have to detonate them. Which... like, I don't know why you would want to really deal with something like this. Like, even if it does do a lot of damage, it seems like a very, very controlled thing. Look at that. My insane shooting of elements paid off. Obsessive. Let's see how many of these this hits. There we go. We've got a whole flooded, like, is this supposed to be Brooklyn and New York even? Or is it just a random city? Like, I always took them as just kind of random cities. Yeah, I just don't know how much. Like, it's not better against this guy, so I really shouldn't be using this gun. Unless there was some kind of experience bonus for using this. And this again feels like some kind of DLC element. It's not loot, however. It's a gun that maybe was too powerful to be in the main game, or maybe just the fact that it is a gun and they just didn't want guns in the main game. It seems kind of odd that let's see, I guess I can hit them with a bunch at a time. Yeah, so you can multiple fire. There's only 4 more of those. Which I guess I'd be rather happy if I found them all. That saves us, I guess, a little bit of frustration. Like, if we're no longer wandering around looking for these rocks, but it really wouldn't change much until we found all the collectibles. So we've still got a considerable amount of books of Pages of the Dead, a considerable amount of other things, relics, I imagine. Still probably plenty of those. Just look around here, make sure we're still hitting and collecting everything. Do I really need this money? I don't know. I kind of waste it. You know, you purchase one thing you think you might need. I imagine there's not too much more of this. Like, we cross this bridge and maybe end up in a boss fight at the end. And see, the thing here is, at least this is slightly different because we spent an hour using the other guns. The pacing's still pretty bad. Like, why did they not hand us the gun I'm holding 30 minutes in the gameplay and then say you have to use this gun for a while, and then 30 minutes into more gameplay they switch it around on you and say now you've got to use this gun for a while. Well, I guess we hit the end of the line. So we're not crossing the bridge or getting to another area. Instead, we are just going back upwards. And yeah, we're gonna traverse this bridge and find the final piece of the rod. Probably, I suspect, in some kind of flying fight, because it would almost certainly have to be a flying fight. Do I want to increase chance of scoring a critical hit, or gain Reaper energy. I think I want to gain Reaper energy. I am at level 20 now, so I could also get Frenzy. Death channels his wrath reserves to attack an enemy. Frenzy increases the power depending on the amount of wrath available. So that could do potentially a ton of damage. Maybe even better than what I'm having. Or this one is Death's form rips apart into a tornado of debris and fragments of ancient blood, laying waste to those caught in the maelstrom. So one of these seems like it's a rather targeted final attack, and one of these seems like a very untargeted final attack. Not sure if either one of them are really going to be better than what we have. We haven't picked up a ton of stuff lately either. Let's see, Arbiter Scroll. We're still looking for level 1 solution, and I wonder if the level 1 solution actually is in the maze and it's just right in front of you as an example of this is what you're looking for, this is what you need to find in the rest of the game. We've found a secret level 10, so that expands it out and says that we've actually missed some. And we haven't found any of these mysterious nomads, and a decent chance we won't find any more of them. 30 more minutes, and we've gone a little long, like about 30 more minutes, and we will have played this game for an entire day. That is crazy. That's it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.